proposed tax reform bills, and I introduced him earlier. He's a professor of accounting and financial development, Leeds City University, Ibadan. He's also the member of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria Governing Council, past chairman, ICANN Ilukweju Bagada, and District Society. Professor Godwin Oyedokun. It's good to see you, Prof. How are you today?
Thank you for having me today. And I want to say good afternoon to the listener and viewers.
All right, then. Prof, you take it from where we stopped. And you know this is a burning economic issue, if you allow me use that line. There seems to be a lot of misinformation and fake news around this tax bill and all of that. What is your understanding of it? What's your position around this bill?
In order not to waste time on what my colleague has said and what even the president of CITN the other time have relayed to the public, I just want to say that most of these issues border on lack of personal time for people to go through this piece of paper that we call bills. If you ask me, how many of these people out there have been able to even print these papers and read line by line to really understand? But rather than that, our people rely on WhatsApp chats that the people are forwarding from one place to the other, and they base their opinion on that. I don't want to say this, but I think it's instructive to say that if you want to hide things from people, put it in writing, and that's just it. If I may continue with this trend, my colleague the other time talks about aspect of this bill one after the other. But let me quickly just stress the positive and challenges around each of these four bills. The first one, which is Nigerian tax reform bills, of course, it's been discussed what it purports to relate to the society. But the positive aspect of it is that it will encourage local and foreign investments. Definitely, it will boost the SME productivities and, of course, at the end of the day, foster job creation. If you look at this alone and you relate it with your topic that talks about growth and development, you will realize that before you can have development around anything, there must be a kind of sustained growth. So when you have this growth sustained, then you can talk about development. So if we have people with right job and their productivity coming out of SMEs is something that we can write home about, then you can see the development coming. And of course, some of us will not come and tell you one side of the story. I should also try to bring about some of the challenges that can come out of this, the bill number one, which is what critics have warned about potential revenue loss. And if we relate with principle of economics, you will realize that there's something we call short run and long run. Of course, if you do away with immediate gratification, that's potential future benefit in the long run. So when people are trying to criticize this, you also be kind to tell us that in the future, we'll be able to do better. So if I go to bill number two, which is Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, of course, my colleague the other time also gave us some key provision of it, but the positive side of it is that it will adequately streamlines tax system. And you know, in any society, tax system is premised on tax law, tax administration, and tax policy. So if it's streamlined, it will definitely increase compliance rates. Then when you talk about compliance rates, when people comply naturally without being pushed too much, definitely everybody that's outside the net of the taxation will definitely come there. It will also, one way or the other, reduce evasion and boost public confidence in tax system that we have. Let me go around the challenges that this bill can also come about is about the implementation. It requires a lot of infrastructure, and whoever or the organization, the agency of government that will administer this need a lot of collaboration between federal and state. We can say much about it, but let me quickly go to the third one, which is Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill. Provision was relayed in your program not quite some minutes ago, but the positive thing that will bring out of this is the supposed improved tax coverage this time around because digital and informal economics will also be touched. So also it will enhance government revenue potentially. So if you look at this, definitely it will have multiplier effects on growth. When growth, like I said the other time, is sustained, you will now have development. However, is it all that golden? The answer is no, because there will be some challenges, and this it has to do with effectiveness, which depend on building capacity and addressing the concern of states that are talking. I think we still need to do more on public engagement, notwithstanding what Taiwo Edele initially said that he has consulted. Consultation about things that is more than a technical issue. We must look at diplomacy and the political angle to it. These people in the corridor of power, they know how to settle issue. They better also engage wider. And I want to also, on that, recommend that the president should call his people. He know what to do. The way they do whenever they want to do their primaries and win the election, they should also do that so that we don't throw this baby and the water simultaneously at the same time. Let me quickly touch on the fourth one before I will rest my piece for some time, which is Joint Revenue Board. It has also been laid to for that it replaces a Joint Tax Board with a more of a functional tax governance mechanism this time around. And this bill, like my colleague said the other time, establishes a kind of tax office to address taxpayers' complaint. Notwithstanding, we have positive aspect of it because Tolu, it will encourage trust and compliance by creating a kind of fair and accountable system for resolving tax disputes. Is there any challenges? Yes. I see the effectiveness, which we definitely depend on adequate funding and operational independence. Are we ready for this? We may say no, but it is doable. So the aspect of that is that we need to do more on our operational independence so that we can see for things of past the way our tax administrations have been doing with the corridor of power. Tolu, I don't know whether I can go on with my expected impact on growth and development.
Yes, we'll get there.
This is for you.
We'll get there, but I need to ask you that this back and forth around the VAT issue, sharing of VAT seems to be the bone of contention here. I'd like you to also react to that and what your understanding around that issue.
Okay, Tolu, the issue is, like I discussed the other time, is more of political than technicality around it. 2-3 weeks before Taiwo Edele went to Senate, I was discussing the fora and I told them that they should call Taiwo Edele and his committee to come and talk to them. I think it still need to go back this time around. It should not use the word rhetoric that that created issue. It should not go with other fact and figure and leave the introductory aspect of it and go into this VAT itself and discuss it. The belief is that when this bill is passed to law, certain side of Nigeria will no longer benefit the way they should. It needs to massage ego, if there's any English call that. So they need to do more engagement. And I want to believe that the committee that is looking into this bill need to be properly, I don't want to use guided, explain to the pros and cons of this particular VAT issue. Tolu, the issue of VAT that we are seeing here is more of subtle restructuring of Nigeria, which some people hold dearly, and they may not want like that. But so we need more of political and diplomacy to go around. It's been explained, and those in accounting, finance, and economics, we understand the intrigues about it. However, some learned in terms of law and accounting shenanigans out there really will not also want to listen to whatever anybody is bringing, because of the part that the narrative being sold in the society is that it is offensive to certain area. The certain area that is leading this discourse is also trying to bring other areas so that there can be more people, region fighting this. Well, I think the consultation we have. For me, if they say the tax rate is increased, but we should look at it. How many people will be within this tax net of this expected or future increase? The issue is just political, my region, my tribe, and that's what is stalling this thing to Lulope.
So now let's now go to, yes, the economic implications, prospects for growth. And now, not just growth, inclusive growth that you see in this document if it becomes law.
Okay, I can relate this in 4 straight points. And if time permits, I may wish to elaborate on it.
Go ahead,
let's
please.
speak economic. Okay, let's speak economic diversification. Honestly, if this bill is passed, honestly, you will see that the reform aims to reduce dependency on oil revenue by broadening the tax net. And people should also understand that there's a difference between increasing tax rates and broadening the tax net. This may not be a platform where we'll be teaching that. But particularly, the issue of capturing the informal economy, which is put around 70% of the GDP, and the issue of a digital industry, you will see that if this is assured, generally, government will have more revenue from those that are supposed to pay, with the principle that has been laid down for so many years by Adam Smith, which is still relevant today. So it brings about economic diversification. If I may think of other points, I can talk about SME growth. If you look at the painting on the wall, like my colleague the other time said, that there's now expanded scope as to which organization, which level of company will be under this particular threshold. We already have 25 million in terms of turnover, and it's being proposed to be 50 million. It means my mother in my village, there's no way our turnover can be up to 25 million, let alone 50. What about block industry around us? People that are selling to keep family faith together. They are not part of this. So we cannot allow shenanigans of it will improvise people, it will bring people to be more poorer. No, because these categories of people will no longer even smell payment of taxes. So they are not part of what we are discussing. But the question is, the category of industry companies that will be paying this, will it be sufficient for government to have his a fair share of their resources and have more money? Because governments across the world need money. More of that money is needed to ensure that government prosecutes the business of governance, because government don't also have business in doing any business except the fact that they must see to our welfare. So if these SME don't pay taxes, then their disposable income will be more in terms of profitability that will be appropriated, apportioned to those that are charged with financing or promoting that particular business. So disposable income in their hands will be available, and it will turn around within the economy. If I give you the third point, it will be around improved public service. So if you link my first point on economic diversification, whatever government is saving and bringing out of it, if well managed, I'm not talking about audio money and the way our people there are insulting the personality of Nigerians by saying we should cut our quotes according to our whatever, and you are elaborately, extravagantly spending money, and people are seeing you in society as if you are God. So if it is well managed, it could support investment in infrastructure. And when investment in infrastructure is sufficient, it grows to some extent, Tolu, then we talk about development. And I'll give you an example. Look at any primary school within any locality. What they are achieving now is that number of blocks, number of chairs and benches in those primary schools. Then you are counting numbers. The time will come, or the time should come, where before you can pass any classroom in primary and secondary school to be a real primary and secondary school classroom, that school must be well illuminated, must have toilet, must have a kind of interactive board system, and then the chairs there are not the one students will have to bring their chairs to the school. Then government provider, that's what we call development. So it's no longer about the number of classroom again, it's now quality of classroom. Well, little and well furnished. So the last point I quickly want to bring out of this is regional equity. And that is what is causing issue as of today. And that's why I want us to look at this issue dispassionately. VAT derivation reform, of course, may promote balanced development across states. But honestly, it could be, it can exacerbate disparity without a compensatory measure. What do I mean? Things must be worked out to allay fear of the section of the country that is proving that bringing this tax VAT derivation formula out, we disadvantageously affect them. So these are the expected impact on growth. So if we do not understand it ab initio, abuse of what this will bring in future is inevitable, Tolu.
Honestly, Prof, it's our time already. It's a good way to live it, but I think we need to have this conversation again and continue this conversation. It's been interesting talking to you. Time flies. I've been speaking to Professor Godwin Oyedokun, making his position on this tax reform bills. He joined me live from Ibadan. He is the professor of accounting and financial development, Leeds City University, also a member of the governing council of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. He's a taxman himself. Thank you so much. Do enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Tolu. Thank you for having me.
All right.